Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a good Friday night. It is May 29th, 2020. And I'm here with a tropical Allegheny severe weather outlook. Sorry I did not post yesterday. I was kind of busy. I'm still trying to get some stuff set up for something other than YouTube. I'm doing something else right now. Not related to YouTube, but yes. I'm sorry about that, but we're going to be back with the day-to-day videos, and we will be having live streams coming up, but the weather is severe. There's really not much severe weather going on right now, and I don't really see any big outbreaks coming up, so we're not going to have much of those coming up, but we're probably going to have some soon, and we're going to have a lot more probably as we get to mid to late June. Yes, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. We're at 213, so we hit our May goal, which was 210. So thank you guys very much for that. Let's get started. So currently we do have two tropical disturbance and cyclone formations, or potential tropical cyclones, I should say. Potential disturbances, or they are disturbances. Sorry, I can't really speak tonight. But formation chances, we have one in the Pacific, and we do have one in the Atlantic also. The one in the Pacific, which is right here, 48 hours, it had a 60% chance of forming, and in the next 5 days, 70%. And we're going to look at the two systems in the GFS model after. Look at this. You can see it's moving kind of to the northwest right there, northwestern motion of that. Now let's take a look at the Atlantic disturbance. So we do have a disturbance. It's in the middle of the Atlantic, so not really affecting much people. In the next 48 hours, there's a 50% chance of forming, and it has a 50% chance of forming in the next 5 days, according to the National Hurricane Center. You can see it's to the east of Bermuda and way to the east of to the U.S. So it's not likely going to affect anybody in the U.S. But yes. Now let's take a look at we're going to look at the GFS model here and see what this our storm, which the formation chance of this storm in Mexico is kind of in this area, or by Mexico, sorry. It's kind of in that area, that purple area I drew. That's where our formation chances. Remember that. Now as we go, for some reason this is not working. All right. As we go to tomorrow afternoon, we can kind of see we start to have a disturbance right there. We can see it's already around 1,002 millibars. The pressure right there, it's already pretty good low pressure. But as we go later, let's get this. So by Sunday morning, it's at 1,006 millibars. To the south of Mexico, way to the south, almost kind of to the southeast. We see it's at a 1,006. We're going to see how strong the winds are going to get with this. I'm not expecting this thing, as of right now, I'm not expecting this thing to get any higher than tropical storm strength. And I think it's going to be a weaker tropical storm. I don't think it's going to be a major hurricane or like a high-end tropical storm or anything like that. I think it's either going to be a low-end tropical storm if it does turn into a tropical storm, or it's going to be maybe a mid-end. Yes, so see by Sunday afternoon it kind of fizzles out. We see it kind of comes back, and we see by the same low pressure kind of Monday afternoon, we see it kind of goes stationary, but then Monday afternoon into Tuesday, we see it really strengthens. It's at 1,003. By Tuesday morning, it's at 1,000 right there. You can see it strengthens a little bit, and that quickly kind of dies out, and it stays around 1,005 millibars for a good amount of time. Now I'm going to look at something's wrong with this here. It's trying to take a sounding. Right, there we go. So let's take a look at the 10 meter winds. There we go. I'm sorry, I just can't sleep tonight for some reason. But we go out, you can see that's where the low pressure is. When it gets really strong, we see the GFS model hardly even has it at tropical storm strength. We can see we have a little bit of green in that area. So it's really not going to be. That's one of the reasons why I'm not expecting it, but some of the other models do have this barely even hitting tropical storm strength. It's only around 35 knots, and that's barely. That's almost 40 miles per hour. So we're gonna have to see, but I think this does have a good shot at becoming a tropical storm. I think it's going to be a weaker to mid-end tropical storm, if anything. Let's take a look at the Atlantic disturbance. We got the tropical tidbits here. I like using it. So we can see we kind of already have a low pressure ongoing in that area around 1014. And that is our low pressure system that has the formation chance to the east of Bermuda. We can see 1014 is as strong as it gets in the GFS model. In this area, it's going to be tracking kind of like this. So we can see it's weird tonight. Okay, that's not gonna work. The general direction is it's I don't have the pro version. This is not going well. It's kind of hard. All right, there we go. So the general direction is going to be kind of north to northeastern. As it moves further north, it's going to kind of make a northeastern turn. Right now, it's moving kind of northwestish. So yes. And then tomorrow we're going to have a little bit more on these two systems. We're going to be looking at a lot more hurricane models. We're going to kind of low on time tonight because I have other stuff to do, like I said. I'm doing some other projects. But yeah. So this is today's day one convective outlook. We did have a pretty big severe weather day in the Northeast. Today, a lot of severe warnings. Currently, we only have a slight risk for northern New Hampshire and northern Maine right there. And we do have a slight risk in PA down in northern Virginia. And we do have a marginal. We have two marginals. We have one going all the way from the tip of Maine all the way down to South Carolina. And we have another one in Wyoming, Nebraska, South Dakota, and northeastern Idaho and southern Montana. So we see that tornado threat today is only at 2%, and that's in areas in the northeast. Wind threat is 5%, and hail threat is 5%. And currently, we do have a line that formed, and there's a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings at that. Now let's look at tomorrow. We're going to be looking at that tomorrow. It's going to be kind of interesting. So tomorrow we have a slight risk in Washington and Oregon, which we don't see a whole lot. It's not really Tornado Valley or anything, but we're going to be looking at that because it's kind of interesting. We do have a marginal risk going all the way down to northern Colorado, and we have a secondary one, coastal areas of South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia right there. So we'll be looking at those. Tornado threat tomorrow is less than 2. Wind threat 15 and hail threat 15% in the northwest. And then for day 3, we do have a marginal risk in portions of the high plains. All right. Now let's move on. Let's look at the northwest for tomorrow. We're looking at the reflectivity UH, which I like to use. I'm going to help point out storm mode, like I said in my last video. So by 21Z, this is around. We're going to be using Pacific time for this. I guess that's what time zone it is. I think, yeah, that's what time zone Washington and Oregon are. Central Washington and Oregon. That's around. So I think that's 2 p.m. So we already have around 2 p.m. in Central Oregon. We already have maybe some storms trying to get going in Central Oregon. We see some of these. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these does kind of have a supercell appearance. But we see we do have some isolated storms trying to get going in Central Oregon right there. Let's move out to OOZ. This is a little bit later. This is around, not really used to this, 5 p.m. You can see right along the Oregon-Washington border, there might be a lot of severe storms. And even maybe to the southeast, we could see some more storms form. The storm track tomorrow will likely be this way. You can see. Okay, this is Epic Pen. Don't like. But storm track will likely be north. And we can see by evening, the evening hours, we see. I don't keep saying that we have a lot of storms. We do have a lot of storms. Some of these could even be supercells in Wisconsin, Washington, and maybe even northeastern Oregon right there. Let's look at the Cape for tomorrow because it's kind of important. We're going to look at instability, moisture, and see what is going on. So tomorrow afternoon, a mixed layer Cape, which is what I like to use. We do have enough in our slight risk. We have about in our slight risk there about 2,000 in Central Oregon. The Washington, we have a lot. Eastern Washington, there's almost 3,500 in some areas. So there's a lot of energy in that area. So the areas we have enough energy for plenty of severe weather, kind of this area, and that we have a lot of energy. So we definitely have enough energy for severe weather. But as we go into Washington, the Washington area, the slight risk might be kind of on the low side, especially as you get into northern Washington. Cape is pretty low. Now let's look at the lifted index, and we're going to look at LCL height. So lifted index tomorrow afternoon, it's decent. Where we have that really high cape, we have -12 C, or Celsius. Then in our slight risk, northern Oregon, which I think northern Oregon might see, and maybe a little bit of southern. I think this area here might see the highest chance to get any supercell development. And we definitely have a lot of lifted index, almost -10, -8, -9 in some areas. In southern Washington, we have -5 to -6. LCL heights, okay, CNN, or CIN, sorry, not CNN, the news thing. LCL height, take a look at those for tomorrow. Alright, there you go. So for tomorrow, LCL height tomorrow afternoon is, so for LCL height, I'll explain this for a second. You want around, for good storms that could produce tornadoes, I want to see around 1,500 or less, because that means that the storm's bases will be lower. If we have like really high base storms, the chance of tornadoes are lower. But you see at 21Z, we have northern Oregon, where I have my highest supercell development. We have that little patch of low LCL heights. And why is Epic Pen suck? This actually is. I'm definitely going to switch subs. This is horrible. But you can see that where I have the highest chance for supercells in that area, we have lower LCL heights in the evening. And so that I think that area also has the best tornado chance. A little bit of southern Washington, and a good amount of northern Oregon. Now I want to look at bulk shear real quick for tomorrow. See what that's saying. So tomorrow afternoon, bulk shear in that area. We have a lot of bulk shear. So we do have a lot of shear in the air. In our slight risk, definitely have a lot. Where I have my highest tornado threat, we have about 67 knots. 6 knots in the 60s in our slight area. And even to the south, we have almost 90 knots. And in northern Washington, we have around 50 to 60 knots. So we definitely have enough bulk shear. I want to look at storm relative helicity, the SRH, real quick for tomorrow. Get that to load. So tomorrow afternoon, helicity is kind of poor, but in some isolated areas, we could have numbers maybe up to around 200. And where I have my highest supercell risk, maybe in kind of highest tornado threat, later in the evening, we could see helicity maybe in some isolated areas up to 200. So helicity is on the low side, but there is enough of it. Let me get some storms. And the last thing I want to look at is supercell composite. I do like to look at this because it kind of tells you where the best environment for supercells is setting up. But it doesn't mean everything. It doesn't mean where you're going to get the strongest tornadoes or anything like that. It shows where the best environment for supercells is. But you want to look at other stuff. You don't just want to look at this and say because I don't think the highest supercell threat's going to be right here. I don't think it's going to happen. I think there could be some supercells in here, or some supercells in that area. But I think the highest area is going to be this area. That's where everything matches up. We have supercell composite of around 14. But in this area here, we have that really high cape. We have 34 in that area, so that's pretty high. Now, I do want to talk about Sunday. We're done talking about Saturday, tomorrow here. Let's look at Sunday. So Sunday afternoon, we could see some isolated storms form in southern Montana, eastern Wyoming, maybe even a little area of western Nebraska and southwestern South Dakota and northern Colorado right there. I think the worst storms will set up probably in eastern Wyoming. That's what I'm thinking right now. That's where everything is setting up. Let's look at Cape, ML Cape, or 180, sorry, not ML. We're using COD for this day, or for Sunday. So this low is going to take a minute. So Cape Sunday is actually kind of on the low cases. Cape on Sunday is actually, it's plentiful, but it's not like extreme. Not extreme Cape, but we have enough. You can see we have Cape of almost 3,000 in northeastern Wyoming. In northeastern Colorado, we have almost 3,000 also. Western Nebraska, 2,000 to 2,500. In southern Montana, maybe even in some localized areas, closer to 3,000. So I got supercell composite. Here we can see Sunday afternoon highest zero composites in northeastern Wyoming. I think that's where we could get some. If we can get any supercells in the area, I think there could be a decent tornado threat up there. Now let's look at UD helicity swaths. Yeah, eastern Wyoming, like I said, has some pretty good UD helicity swaths. Very strong. And even southeastern Montana. So I think this area here is going to have the best chance for bad storms, maybe even some tornadoes. Probably 1, 2, maybe 3 tornadoes. Now let's look in the long range for some severe weather. So I want to look at Cape to start off here. So I want to talk about something because I've been watching this for a while. A lot of people have. They've been talking about something happening on June 1st and the 2nd. So I still see extreme Cape on June 1st. Up in eastern South Dakota and western Minnesota, right there, 5,175 right there in eastern South Dakota. We still see that extreme Cape, and we even still see it on the 2nd, this is the 2nd here. It's a little bit further to the east since last time we looked at this, but it's still there, that big Cape swath. Now we're going to have to look to see if anything's going to happen, because we got to see if we have any bulk shear and storm relative velocity to see if we can get anything to actually go up. So we're going to have to look at this. We'll go out to Monday, see if anything's going to happen in our area. So in our severe weather area, that high Cape, we do have some bulk shear on the GFS model. 35 knots. That has changed since we last looked. In our good Cape area, which is this area here, we have some decent bulk shear. 43 knots in that area, so that could mean we have an okay tornado threat. I'm not expecting a big tornado outbreak or anything, but we do have tornado threat is there. Now let's look at Monday again on the storm relative velocity here, the SRH. So setting up further to the south, in Nebraska and Iowa right there, which we do have good Cape in that area, around 300, and even to the east we have some pretty good numbers in northern Illinois into also areas of Wisconsin right there. Now we're gonna look at helicity for Tuesday. It's not really not looking the best in our high Cape area, but in the western part of our high Cape area we have a lot. I want to look at lifted index now. Give us an idea on how much lift we have. All right, load. Right, here we go. It's just gonna take a minute. So Monday afternoon, we're gonna have to see if we have enough lift, because it's kind of a big deal. If you don't have any lift, you may not be able to get any development of the storms. Let's look at June 1st here. On June 1st, we have a decent number of lift. Pivotal weather is being slow. Oh yeah, we have a lot of lift, especially in our high Cape area. We have lift of almost -11. So we have enough lift on June 1st, and Tuesday we have a good amount of lift also. Let's look at supercell. That's all. This is the last thing we're going to look at today, and that is supercell composite. Let's look at that real quick. Let's go out to Monday afternoon. Yeah, Monday afternoon is pretty good in our area. I think Monday, the hot spot. Why did that just change randomly? I think Monday afternoon, the hot spot is going to be probably this area there. I think that's where the hot spot is. I think that's where kind of the best tornado risk is going to line up. Even maybe on the northern side, the best tornado risk I think is going to happen. But there could be some big hail producing storms in the south. And then Tuesday, where it's lining up is I think Monday is going to be bigger than Tuesday in my opinion. Now, I would have said it was going to be June 2nd, but Monday looks better on the GFS model. We're going to have to wait till we can see it. The NAM model is going to give us a better idea because it has more. It's better than the GFS or forecasting severe weather, but I think Tuesday, the hot spot, it's going to be kind of hard to tell, but I think it might be northern Iowa, southern Minnesota, maybe even Wisconsin again. But that'll wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, please subscribe, and I hope you guys have a good Friday, and I'll be posting tomorrow. Peace out.